If you haven't guessed it already, it's October the 30th, and there's a curse which haunts Hull, that curse being the curse of the camera. As the boys are yet to win a game this season, well, we've been here to record. With this episode featuring a double header of games, there's definitely an opportunity to break that curse today. And if that's not scary enough for you, here's some footage of them in the changing rooms.
Dick of the day.
You're definitely getting it.
Fucking not, mate. Jordan's already got it.
Mate, the whole team is going to vote for you the way you kicked off. Jace made a bad left foot pass. Dick of the day.
Fucking hell. Has made something with his right foot, so you can't fucking say that.
Jace puts his name down. Dick of the day.
Jordan put the same one again.
Yeah, but he corrected his.
Because I put it out.
Well, that's your fault. Point out.
While Jason and Dowdy squabble over who is actually Dick of the Day, there's one thing on everybody's minds. Can you guess what it is?
We all just standing and hoping the nets get put up, or...
I've noticed everybody in the squad's like that now. It used to be like 6 lads put the nets up, and now it's like 6 lads watching them going, where the fuck are the nets?
In the cupboard? Fucking hell.
While the lads, including Dean, reluctantly trudge off to put the nets up, the mighty D have played a few games since we last caught with them. They started the month by losing 2-1 away to Jackswood, but bounced back the week after to beat Upton here 3-0 at Hull Park. They then went back on the road again, picking up an impressive 7-0 victory versus Horse and Jockey. But of course, we missed it. With last week's game versus Great Sutton getting postponed, the D come into this with a bit of momentum on their side. However, they find themselves safe place in the table currently, but have a few games in hand over the teams above them. Today is a great opportunity to potentially climb the table. Today, they're facing Straw Hat Athletic, who sit just below them in 9th place. You can tell it's late into October as the nights are drawing in and it's getting colder, hence why the lads are actually warming up instead of just hoofing balls at the goal. Let's cross over to Ryan to see what he has to say ahead of the game.
And Jason either side of Adam. Okay, so that does give us loads of options.
What? Did you not hear us in the changing room? It takes him 15 attempts to get one on top.
Hey, I'm there to cross the ball to Ad.
Is that
No, they've put Jason up front all the way. The big guy here. Jason's scared of
You
it.
enjoy yourselves, boys?
You're probably thinking that was an editing mistake, but in fact the actual mistake was we didn't actually capture the full team talk. So instead, we captured the end of Jason's pitch on why Ryan's choice to play him at right wing today was justified. The reason we missed the team talk, it turns out, was that we were getting some shots of the teams having their pitches taken instead. But nevertheless, let's dive headfirst into this game, shall we? Right on cue, the heavens are well and truly opened. A quick wipe of the lens later reveals Drew magically through on goal. Can he finish it?
Oh, God, Drew!
Gotta be, it's it.
With Drew's effort just going wide of the post, we're more concerned about what that noise was before he had the shot in the first place. But in other news, let's check up on Jason and see how he's getting on at right wing, shall we?
You done it instead of waiting for your second window, haven't you?
Turns out he's gassed out already. Lucky Dowdy's on hand to give him some good advice though.
Training, it's all you do.
I didn't like forward, didn't like it was playing sensible.
I did, it was a pasty.
More about Dowdy's pasty afterwards. We have a game to play here. Despite the rain doing its best to obstruct the view, the boys have made a good start to the opening minutes of this game. Some lovely build-up play finds a knackered Jason back post, but can he score?
It's it. Yes! Go on, Jason. Yes! Yes! That's a fucking record, 1-on-1! Oh, the fucking camera's here, innit?
He only scores when the camera's in.
Put me centre back now, guy.
After that goal, it looks like Jason's work here is done for the day, but despite his request, he's still staying at right wing for now. But this game is far from over still, with loads of time left to play. Some great pressure from Adam wins the ball back for the D high up the pitch. After a lovely through ball, Adam's 1v1 with the keeper, but can he finish it and make it 2?
Goal!
That's what he missed it.
I honestly thought he missed that. That's why I didn't say anything. I was like...
Despite Dowdy fearing the worst, Adam's cool finish puts the D 2-0 up. But as the saying goes, 2-0 is a dangerous scoreline, and Straw Hat haven't given up just yet.
Better, Sam. Oh, Dean, what you doing?
Straw Hat are still swinging and are definitely not going down without a fight. Means they've given away a decent free kick in a promising area though. Now can Pez put a good ball in the box to make it 3?
Get in.
With Adams' prod towards goal going under the keeper, the D are 3-0 up. Does that make Jason's life at right wing any easier? Let's find out.
Jace, that's your job to come to the ball, mate.
Yeah, come to the ball, but fucking leave the time with fucking man on, don't
Can't
you?
stand still. Goal.
Well, apparently not. And not that you could see much, but the D nearly conceded.
Starting position should have been here anyway.
Right, dick it today already. I've got to do his job for him now.
Jace, you should have been stood here anyway.
You're 37, not 7. What? You're 37, not 7.
36 actually.
With Jason firmly putting himself in the lead for Dick of the Day and Dowdy forgetting how old Jason is, the magic towel is back out to wipe the lens to reveal a game of head tennis is broken out. Eventually, the ball falls kindly to Straw Hat and a long ball over the top gives them another good opportunity on goal.
How was that gone through for 2?
Luckily for the D, Lunny is equal to the effort. It might be just me, but Straw Hat might have started to let their frustrations get the better of them. Well, after the number 6's best effort to make sure he doesn't save anything else this half, surely there's only one thing that will follow.
It's a yellow card. It's fucking GBH.
GBH aside and the number 6 still on the pitch, there's a lot of questions, but not a lot of answers. Isn't that right, Max?
That was worse than mine. Max said, oh, you're on camera saying that as well.
I mean, it's debatable, Max. Back to the pitch. There's a debate going on between Lunny and the ref. It turns out the ref prefers to spend his nights out in Cruise, where Lunny is a classy sort of guy and prefers his nights out in all bar one. It's fair to say he's not a happy Lunny at the moment. The debate went on for quite some time, so we cut most of it out and got back to the football. Speaking of the football, it won't be a D Rangers game without some comical D defending.
Absolutely bottled it.
Bottling it aside, a Straw Hat goal has been coming, to be honest. Other than that, though, Straw Hat maintained the consistency in giving away silly fouls. Sadly, the free kick didn't amount to anything. But back to being consistent, it's what everybody strives for in life. Isn't that right, Dan? All jokes aside, that's a painful one, and surprisingly, the ref has played on. Enter Jason, the voice of reason. This game's definitely got more physical since Lunny got lumberjacked. Despite the madness, the D have a free kick to defend. If they clear their lines properly, could they spring a counter-attack if they pass it correctly?
Go on out, use your pace.
Sadly, Adam's header towards Drew isn't accurate enough, but Drew hasn't given up on the loose ball just yet.
I played that.
A counter the D should have definitely capitalised on, but another free kick gives them chance to lump it in the box once again. I tell you what, that's some save from the Straw Hat keeper to keep it at 3-1 there, but with Straw Hat in possession of the ball again, they're looking to mount an attack of their own. After their midfielder has finished playing Twister, they whip it in the box. Did someone say penalty? The Straw Hat players definitely think so, but the ref doesn't, so play resumes. Well, not for long anyway. At first glance, it looked like we had another Oscar-worthy performance, but upon reflection, the ref could have easily have gave it. So we will leave it up to you to decide. Meanwhile, the number 6 has now decided to get involved with the debate between Lunny and the ref from before. It turns out the number 6 is more of an off-the-wall sort of guy and dislikes Cruz because they wouldn't let him in once. The ref has now heard enough. Surely he's got to go now, right? After trudging off, the number 6 has been sin-binned so he can think about his club in sins. But amazingly, he hasn't been sent off yet. With not long to go till a half, and Straw Hat down a man for now, can the boys take advantage and find a fourth? After the ref took a tumble on the overlap, we might have another contender for the Oscars at the end of the season. I bet nobody else seen that coming. We didn't. Apart from that, the boys couldn't make the man advantage count, and that caps off a wet, windy and eventful first 45 minutes. But more importantly, the D are 3-1 up. Not something we've said much so far this season. Let's hear what Ryan has to say about that, shall we?
Just edgy a bit.
Well, at least we captured the team talk this time, but who are we to argue with Mother Nature? After capturing the windiest team talk to date, there's just enough time to get a quick drink and go again for the second half. Here's to another windy half. It's certainly left a straw hat number 7 jumping for joy. It might be a new half, but the same comical D defending still exists. It would leave a certain someone to say ooh, but this is Sunday League. There is no fancy camera angles, and there's definitely no oohs. Just Dowdy's thoughts instead.
What's that?
Me personally.
What the fuck was that?
Once again, we've seen them given, but that belongs in a land with fancy camera angles and bigger budgets. But nevertheless, another pen shout for Straw Hat gets waved away. After kicking up a fuss, Straw Hat win the ball back again, and a good ball down the line sends Sam on his bike. He's got this under control, right? After the Rolls Royce with dodgy knees gets up and calmly deals with the situation, Rye's got some advice for Lunny as he looks to build up the play.
Silly, Lunny. Nothing silly. They need that second or third touch. Fucking hell.
After Lunny takes 1, 2 or 3 touches too many, he eventually finds Drew with a lovely first touch to Liam, who tries to chip it over the top. A misdirected header means the ball falls to Adam on the volley.
Oh, Adam was eyeing that up then.
Mercifully, the ref brings it back for Adam to have another attempt, this time at the free kick. Can Adam make it 4-1? The answer is no. No, he can't. To think he's on a hat-trick too. Nevertheless, Baker beats the offside trap, and despite the Straw Hat protests, Drew's bearing down on goal with the keeper to beat. Can he finish this time?
Okay.
The answer is also no. Meanwhile, Straw Hat resorted to their old ways with a late challenge on Pez. However, the ref waves play on, and a ball from Liam somehow stays in and gives Drew another opportunity to get the 4th.
Oh, unlucky.
Back to Lunny's kicking now. Some say he might have taken the meme machine comment from last episode personally.
Straight down the camera.
With the chances the D have had this game, it could easily be done by now, but Straw Hat proving once again that one goal could easily change the momentum. Their latest effort just going wide once again. That was the war cry of Jason you just heard, and yes, that means he's back at centre-back. Speaking of centre-backs, Adam has picked up the ball and is causing havoc to the Straw Hat back line. However, he can't quite get the shot off. Dowdy has some more advice for him though.
Use your left, you minge back!
Poetic words from Dowdy there. Meanwhile, it's panic stations at the back.
Well done!
Who doesn't love a good old Sunday League scramble, eh? But more importantly, there's not long left to the go of this game. The boys need to somehow weather the Straw Hat storm. With the score now 3-2, it's going to make for a nervy last 10 minutes. It's definitely squeaky bum time as Straw Hat continued to pile the pressure on. After some quick build-up play, the number 11 whips the ball into the box when...
Come on!
Jordan with a save Peter Schmeichel would have been proud of there. But all jokes aside, you can definitely see why the ref has given it. But can Lunny step up and save the pen to avoid it becoming 3-3? Oh, how quick a game can change. With only a few minutes left, can the boys find a way to get a 4th to win the game? Another episode, another creative way to time waste. On this episode, we have the Straw Hat player practicing his 2-step. It's fair to say the sideline aren't too impressed that the ref hasn't noticed his dance moves, and to be fair, I don't blame them. Dancing aside, the free kick is taken and it's gone all the way to the back post. Did someone say bicycle kick? Failed bicycle kicks aside, the D are really giving it everything they have to nick a winner here. Although the game has started to become really scrappy, with both teams lacking any energy. It could take something as simple as a long ball over the top for Smiler to flick on, perhaps.
Not a chance!
Well, everything happened in that clip apart from the right call being made after a questionable offside. We're deep into added time now, and you feel like this could be last chance saloon for the boys. In a game which had everything, upon reflection a draw seems like a fair result, but on the other hand, the boys are frustrated given they were 3-1 up until a mad 10-minute spell.
We can only blame ourselves. Yeah, the referees made a shit decision for the equaliser, but at the end of the day, we lost that game. 3-1 up and we fucking made mistakes throughout the park.
I think we lost everything. Absolutely bottled it. I went to him, why did you put there? He goes, your arm's on it. I didn't hit my arm. It's in my shoulder, there's the fucking ball mark on my shoulder. Where's the fucking handball? He goes, it's in your arm. What fucking has he done?
Never offside.
Ball mark, yes, he did, yeah.
Hey, never offside on that flip on that.
No, he wasn't. He's come from behind you.
He was level with you at least, like the shot.
No, I didn't. I seen him running. That's why I flicked it on.
After a frustrating and physical game, all that's left now is to lick their wounds and go again next week. But first, we caught up with Ryan and Captain Jordan to get their thoughts on how the league campaign has gone so far.
That's the last fixture from October. First 2 months of the season all done. Not a bad start. Couple of decent games. Nice to have Hull Park back. What do you think?
Nice to be back where we should be. Difficult start to the season with the teams we've played. Played probably the best 3 in the league, just other than Woodies. And then we've had the teams that we're competing with the last few weeks, which have been much better games to play in. Missed Tarvin, which was a big one, which is what I've heard is a really close game, which we could have potentially won. And then coming back, and we've had a good win against Horse and Jockey, and then difficult test today where we've really thrown the lead away, unfortunately.
Yeah, so a record of 3 wins, 3 losses, and then today a draw, a very rare draw. As a whole, is anybody starting to stand out for the first couple of months of the season?
For us or teams-wise?
Both, really. The oppositions that we're playing against, but with the split, we're not going to play them again, so we'll have to see how that pans out. But
You've got all the Elden Report teams. Jackswood were a good side. You've got Gunners who are top side, really good players in there. Tarvin again, who I wasn't around for. They've obviously kept on a lot of players from last year and brought in some young lads as well, which is really difficult because we're a really good side. And then we've got some new lads who've come in and settled really well. Dean, Max have been two top lads who've come in. Craig, who's played today, has done well. Caden had a good run out today as well. I'm trying to think who else we've actually brought in. Lunny this season, good game today. Difficult trying to swap 2 keepers around, keep everyone happy, but we've kind of injected ourselves with a few players who settled in really well in terms of the banter in the group and that, which is good.
yeah, I think when I try and pick these teams and try and run it, it's trying to be fair to people, and maybe over the years we've had squads where we were fair to people but maybe not fair to the team, and I'm not necessarily focused on the results, but this is a good side. I think this is a good team, and no matter where we go in the split, where we end up section B or section A, there's not too many teams I'm scared to play, like the old days going away to Saltney or anything. No, not a bad squad, is it?
No, I think if we get our... It's hard to say best 11 because with the new lads, some of them can contest them to get into the best 11. So I think until we've got, I don't know, a squad of 16 that we would say is our strongest 16, even out of the 16s, picking 11's a really difficult choice. But I think with the strongest side we've got, we can compete with anyone, and I think we showed that last year. Before the addition with new lads, competing with Tarvin in the cup and beating them in the semi. Beating Waverton in the final and showing that we have got that quality to compete at the top level, but it's about having lads who are going to be there week in, week out, so the lads who unfortunately get injured or suspended or aren't there available every week, it makes it really hard to try and get a core group of players week in, week out. I think if we get that, then we can.
So we've had 7 games competitive, a couple more friendlies on top of that, so call it 14 games, give or take. What's your aims now? What do you think what would be a successful season?
I mean, I appreciate we want to. Section B is obviously, we think we can win it if we get in it, but if we can get our best side together, I think we can challenge for Section A, and that might be warped with the results we've had and whatnot. But I think if it's getting a consistent team together, we can compete with anyone. They're not the nicest of games because we know that they're competitive, they're physical, and they're intense games, but they're the best ones to win, and I think that we can win them if we have our best side together, which unfortunately for the big teams we haven't. and I think that's showed in the results that we've had against them, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's nice to see though that after 12 years of you playing and 10 years of me playing and managing, gone are the days that the answer to that question is just survive.
Yeah.
You know, we put together a team and go, oh God, if we can make it to the end of the season, I'll be made up. But yeah, I think we're doing well. Things are looking up. 40 years, D Rangers. Not bad, is it?
No, keep going strong.
After letting the dust settle from the Straw Hat game, we caught up with the boys for match day 9. But this isn't any ordinary Sunday, it's Remembrance Sunday. Today, the boys are back on the road again and take a short trip to Sea Hill to face Sorgall Colts. Sorgall have one of the better facilities around and do a lot for youth football within the local community, but it's back to familiar comforts for the lads as it's back to getting changed in the cold, windy car park. Some say they won't have it any other way. Others are wondering if there's any tape around.
What, bring tape? If Sam's not going to be the only dickhead that brings it.
Well, that's not really a me problem, is it?
Yeah, it's your fault.
I don't even wear it, so it's not something I contemplate.
Ryan might not wear it, but has now been tasked to find some. But the question is, can he?
Yeah? Look at that, eh? Never in doubt. Never in doubt.
Now that Dowdy has some tape, let's see if he can keep him occupied for 5 minutes.
Got it, lad.
Yeah, you have a tape out.
Have a swipe.
I've done it.
Hold on.
Yeah. How long do you want it down?
Magic touch that, mate.
Long enough to go round this fucking tree trunk.
After Ryan delivered the quote-unquote magic touch to get the tape unravelled, the boys are taped up and ready to go. Well, most of them anyway. Although, Jordan has come up with a suggestion as to why Dowdy was struggling in the first place.
It's like cut off or something. It's gone off. Nobody eat this tape, it's out of date.
If it wasn't clear and obvious already, don't eat tape, even more so if it's out of date. Meanwhile, Dean has the right idea.
Who's got the tape anyway?
Now's not the time, Jason. Meanwhile, Dean has finally appeared. Tape aside, the D have only played 1 game since. Matchday 8 saw them host Tatton Hall at Hull Park, winning the game 6-2. And of course, once again, we missed it. So the curse of the camera is still alive and well. The boys come into this game sitting in 8th place despite that win, while their opponent Sorgall sit in 5th. Sorgall are a fit young side, so this should be another good test for the lads. Let's see if we manage to capture the team talk correctly this time, shall we?
Right, boys, first up, watching you warming up and stuff there, you can see how the wind's affecting those balls, so let's try, if we're going to shoot for distance, to keep it down, alright? It's going to float, that way it's going to float, it's going to go behind the goal, so we need to be conscious of that. It's a lovely pitch, usually, almost always is. Get the ball down on the ground, make sure we're playing our football. These are a good, young, fit side, okay? So we need to get the ball around them, make them work for it, okay? Make it simple for us as best as possible. Starting 11, Dowdy in goal. Back 4, Jordan, Jace, Bell and Craig Davis. Midfield 3, Dean, Zach and Craig G. Up front, Niall and Drew, either side of Adam, alright? Gives me loads of options from the bench as always. It's been tough picking the squad here today, boys, but your job to go out there today and make it tough again next week. Okay, if anyone has an absolute stinker, it makes my life a lot easier. Okay, so keep working for each other, battling on and off the ball, and let me know if you're struggling at any stage, okay? Just go and enjoy it, because I can't imagine we're going to have too many more games left if the weather holds out, doesn't hold out like it's been going, right? Go and enjoy yourselves.
It's nice to have a bit of normality back and actually capture the team talk this time. Jokes aside, as we mentioned before, today is Remembrance Sunday. We'd like to take a minute to reflect and remember those heroes who fought for our country. Now, it's time for another instalment of Sunday League silliness. We start the action with Jordan throwing the ball back to Dowdy. With no other option, Dowdy sends a saw goal forward to Hull Park and then decides to clear his lines. When... I'm not sure it's tape that Dowdy needed after all. I think he's going to need a new pair of shorts instead, as that was way too close for comfort. Regardless, Sorgall is striding forward once again on the attack. When...
Get in there!
Definitely not the start the lads needed, but after a shaky start it was sort of expected. Now it's about reacting and taking the game to Sorgall. Turns out the keeper quite literally taking matters into his own hands, or hand, in the build-up stops the D from making it 1-1 after the ref blew his whistle just before the ball went over the line. As you can imagine, the boys are fuming, and to be honest, rightly so. But nevertheless, after a long talk between the ref and the keeper, we find out the ref isn't into the clubbing scene like the others, and prefers a nice peaceful walk around the castle walls in the city instead. But back to the football. Surely the keeper has to go, right? Yes, your eyes don't deceive you. That was in fact only a yellow, and the boys are still 1-0 down, and have to settle for a free kick instead. Can they take advantage of it? As predicted, no they can't, but they're definitely turning up the pressure in this game.
Get it out! Get it out!
But it's important they make that pressure count. Using the wind to their advantage, another long ball over the top presents the D with another good chance. Not that we can see much due to the linesman, but a good save from the keeper stops it being 1-1. But Adam's effort stings his palms, and it goes out for a corner. Now, can they make this opportunity count? Might have been a scrappy goal, but they all count. Even more so when you're 1-0 down. Now can the boys push on and grab a second? After some lovely play in midfield and of course the old G faithful ball over the top, it gives Adam a chance to run in behind once again. Talk about not having much luck, but more importantly we're back not being able to see, as Sorgall have a corner of their own. The eagle-eyed viewer might have noticed that for this game we're filming on the opposite side of the lads. It's fair to say we're missing their input. Lucky for us, Bell is on hand to keep us involved. After Bell tried his best to end the episode and the documentary early, we're back to the action again, and another throw gives the D another good chance. This time, it heads just over the bar. With not long to go of what has been a windy but well-contested first half, with the game still at 1-1, it's important neither side give any silly free kicks away.
Yes!
In typical D fashion, it's only right to give a free kick away in a good area, but that's not our only concern. Not only can't we see, but we're also taking a battering still.
Lucky!
With the documentary and the episode still hanging in the balance, but more importantly the scoreline still level, that caps off a windy, yet controversial first half. Now let's hear Ryan's thoughts. As much as we'd love to include the full team talk, sadly Mother Nature won, and who are we to argue with Mother Nature? So without further ado, let's kick on with the second half then, shall we? After the break, Sorgall have come out swinging, and like the first half, I think we all know what's coming here. After a good first half, it's only right that the boys concede another early goal. Ironically, Sorgall have the wind in their sails, and are eyeing a quick third goal. Someone please put a stop to this. Unfortunately so for the D, another ball is found, and they have another corner to defend. A free header front post sees Sorgall's latest effort just go wide. After that, the game started to die down a little, so it's back to taking the battering. It definitely hasn't been the trip to see Hill me or the D wanted so far, but on more positive news, the set pieces have returned. Sadly though, the ball in the box meets a Sorgall player first, but bounces back out for a second attempt. Surely second time lucky. Turns out, it wasn't to be, seeing their latest effort head over the bar again. Speaking of which, it's now Sorgel's turn. Still pushing for that third goal and bored of heading it over the bar, Sorgel have now taken aim at the goal again. Somehow, the ball stays out and the score stays 2-1. However, a soft foul gives the D one final chance as we approach the last few minutes of the game. Not to condone Pez's actions, but that's definitely a foul Straw Hat would have been proud of. Nevertheless, there's just enough time to hear how the ref loves a good bike ride down by the river whenever he's not reffing on a Sunday. However, Pez disagrees and feels a walk would be a better choice, therefore earns himself a yellow. Fouls and bike rides aside, even we can appreciate the ping from the resulting free kick.
Oh, lucky!
Thankfully for the D, no one was on the end of it though. But nevertheless, that was the final moment of another windy and frustrating game. Sadly, another week and another game which the D will look back on a combination of missed chances, dodgy decisions and sloppy defending. But of course, the curse of the camera is still alive and well. I've just realised we never did actually find out who was Dick of the Day either.
Vote for James for Dick of the Day.